Hello, everyone. Welcome into Above My Pay Grade. My name is Eric. Thanks for tuning in. If you could hit that like, hit subscribe, I'd much appreciate it. Gas prices are about to go up. Why do I say that? A lot of economics can be a little heady over my head, at least. It's hard to wrap your head around all the geopolitics and all the cross currents moving around the economy. But one thing I always like to fall back on is the old simple supply and demand. Supply and demand. One thing about gas, and energy in particular, is it has an inelastic demand, meaning people need it. They don't want it, they need it. And so there's a certain floor where they won't stop using the energy. Obviously, if the price goes through the roof, like in Europe, there's certain people in England, for instance, 1 in 4 people say they're not going to turn on their heat this winter because it's that expensive. But energy is one of those commodities where it has a constant demand because people need it. However, our leaders, our fearless leaders, are not increasing the supply. So just that simple sentence alone. Is the supply increasing? If the answer is no, then the price will go up because the demand will not decrease that much unless the price goes through the roof like in Europe, and then you have a different set of problems on your hands. People can't, because energy is what makes the economy go round, if you think about it. Oil is one of the leading input costs of pretty much everything you consume. And if that price goes up, everything else goes up with it. So we've been experiencing in the United States gas going down by $1 a gallon, and that is going to be short-lived. They're putting patches in the ship, but it's still sinking, unfortunately. And that's why I think we're going to see lower inflation this month. But the question is long-term, what's going to happen to gas prices if supply does not increase? All right. So I got a couple articles I'll link in the description below. But one of them's from CNBC. And it says, in the commodities market, there's a common saying, the cure for high prices is high prices because demand goes down as prices go up. That is not a good thing for the economy, though. Why is that? Because economic activity goes down with the demand. So as you say, we have a booming economy. People aren't taking trips that they otherwise would. They're not flying places. They're not driving places that they otherwise would because gas prices are so high. So again, not a good thing. One of the main reasons that the price of gas is falling is oil prices. Crude is the single largest factor influencing gas prices. A lot of people associate gas and oil as the same thing. They're not. Oil has to be refined into the kind of gasoline that you put into your car. It accounts for more than 50% of what we pay at the pump, and that is dropping because demand is dropping. Again, not a good thing. So, additionally, another reason it's dropped recently, the demand in China. As I'm sure you've found or you've seen some of the draconian lockdowns because of the Wuhan flu in China. That obviously drops demand off a cliff like it did in the United States. But gas and oil is a world market. So if we are producing it, oftentimes our producers, unless told so by the government for national security, send it overseas if the price is higher over there. So we live in a market that there's not a ton of difference from one part of the globe to the other. So it says in this article, to move below $4 a gallon begs the question, will there be further declines on the horizon? And all we need to think about is supply. and demand. Supply is decreasing. Also, other forms of energy. Germany is about to shut down their last nuclear power plant. They continue to punch themselves in the face and blame other people. But oftentimes on the futures market, meaning when people are looking, okay, here's what I want to pay because they'll sign these contracts. Here's what I want to pay in 3 months. So they'll sign these contracts in the futures market. And in the futures market, it's gone up 10% in early August. That's what when this article is from. In just a week. Does that mean gas is going to go up? Yes, it does. Refiners are running running full out to keep pace with demand. Because if you don't have more this is the other thing about demand and supply. If you don't have more refineries to take that oil and turn it into the gas, you put it into your car, it doesn't matter. They cannot increase supply if they're running at full capacity and you're not creating more refineries, which we're not. A hurricane or other events that bring refinery outages could push up gas prices since there aren't alternatives readily available as Europe looks for petroleum products. Additionally, the full slate of European sanctions against Russian fuel purchases has yet to go into effect. They haven't fully sanctioned Russian oil. And here's another fun fact. Do you know where Europe goes, hey, we want a virtue signal. Russia bad. We don't want to buy Russian oil. Russia sends their oil to China, and then Europe buys it from China at a markup. Oh, man, this stuff is... At the end of the day, you can virtue signal all you want. People need energy. There is no way around that. So that, when it comes to your economy, and if you want a virtue signal around that, and the ESG movement is crushing people right now, and this virtue signaling political body in Europe is crushing people right now. But on top of the fact, they're not even really hurting Russia in the slightest. Because guess what happens when global supply goes down? Price goes up. And so Europe is saying, hey, we're not going to get our gas from Russia, even though they are, because they're sending it to China and then getting it at a markup. Guess what? Russian exports of oil, they're making more profit because prices are going up. Is that hurting Russia or is it helping Russia? I wonder. Okay. And it's all about narrative. It has nothing to do with reality. And the problem is, this isn't an acting class. This is real life. And so if you're trying to push a narrative, that only works until reality comes and smacks you in the face. And that's happening in Europe right now. You can say, we really, we're going to virtue signal our way through this, and we don't stand with Russia. Meanwhile, you're buying it through the back door or through China. But then your citizens don't have energy in the winter. How's that going to work out for you? It's not. The country is a major energy producer, and so EU scrambling to secure supplies from elsewhere could lift global prices. Yesterday, and why would EU be scrambling to find energy from elsewhere? Well, yesterday, I'll link this in the description below, from CNN, Russia energy giant Gazprom said Tuesday that it will completely suspend gas supplies to French industrial energy group Engie this week due to contract dispute amid concerns of potential energy crisis in Europe this winter. That starts September 1st. Tomorrow. You see where this is going? It means higher gas prices here, too, because it is a global market. If Europe can't get gas from Russia, France, Germany, can't get gas from Russia. Like I said, the sanctions haven't totally kicked in yet. But Russia's kind of doing it to them because Russia can find demand for oil in India, in China, and Europe, like I said, is just buying it from China anyways, which China's getting it from Russia. But it doesn't hurt Russia at all. But now Russia is really turning the screws on Europe and saying, hey, guess what? You want to play these games? No more oil for you. And I've done an analogy before. The oil going from Russia to Europe is like a faucet. So they have a faucet of energy coming from Russia. If you turn that faucet off, like you turn it off in your house, you now have to, if you don't have supply coming in like that, you have to go get gallons of water. Meaning, in Europe, they have to ship it over on a barge, which makes it more expensive. And the supply, it can't nearly keep up with a pipeline, which is that faucet. So this global demand is about to hit the United States. I think we are in for a very unpredictable winter. But as our leaders tout global, or in the United States, they tout gas prices going down, just simply ask yourself, are they creating more supply? Is that the reason prices are going down? And if that's not the reason prices are going down, more supply, then you're in for a world of hurt. One of two things is happening. Demand is falling off a cliff, which means economic activity is falling off a cliff. Or they're just patching holes in the ship, and it's going to go up again. So, it really frustrates me when I feel like politicians, at the expense of their people's living standard, are virtue signaling, are lying to their people just to get reelected. Really bothersome. But that's where we're at today, unfortunately. Let me know what you think of these global supply issues with oil. I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace.